Hi, I'm Bybreen and welcome back to another episode of Soul Stirring Astrology, where I give you my textured take on the world of astrology. Well, in about a week's time, on April the 26th, we have a new moon that's taking place in Taurus. So we've got the sun and the moon forming a conjunction. Now this new moon is very earthy, and the reason being is because we have the sun, moon, the north node and Pluto all in earth signs. And the north node is the future direction for your life in this current life. So the North Node sets a context for all of our lives. It gives us a clear direction in terms of where we're meant to be moving towards. However, we can't traverse into that until we've dealt with issues from the past, which is represented by the South Node. Now this North Node is at 1 degree of Virgo, and next month in May it moves into Leo, and so it's the opportunity with this new moon to really start cleaning up, finalising how you have become far more discerning and discriminatory over the last 18 months, so that you're pulling away from this diffused energy that is being brought forward by Pisces, because when the North Node moves into Leo, it's the time for you to take centre stage. The spotlight is going to be on you, and in order for you to really bask in the spotlight but also contribute, you have to have cleaned up your past. So the South Node is in Pisces, and so here there could be the tendency where you have been the victim, or you've created codependent relationships, or you have had an inability to express what your actual needs are, and that's because you've always been pulled into the emotional demands of other people. And so this last degree of the North Node in Virgo is really beckoning you to clean up that aspect, and for you to think about your capacity to actually say no and mean it, and not be brought back into the emotional demands or dramas of other people. And that's not because you're being less compassionate, but it's more about your right and your ability to actually assert who you are, and that's really been signatured because of the North Node in Virgo. And Virgo is about being discerning, discriminatory, being cautious, thinking through your next steps and your next plan of action. Pluto is here as well, and so Pluto is in Capricorn, and Pluto is about deep transformation. And so when you bring this signature together of the sun, which is about your core identity, it's being balanced by the moon, which is equally in Taurus. So the moon is about your self-image, as well as your emotional reaction to stimuli around you. It's quite balanced. So together with this new moon, it's about creating things, tangible things that give you a sense of deeper security, and that's represented by Taurus. Whereas your South Node, what you're doing is you're bringing all of the past baggage and identities and personalities and tools and behaviours that actually are potentially trapping you or boxing you in. They're creating a boundary between your new life and your current way of operating. And so the North Node gives you an opportunity to expand into the new dimension of who you are. But it's staying with Pisces because we have Venus forming a conjunction with Chiron. And Chiron here is the wounded healer. And with Venus, there's a sense that you may have experienced deep pain and trauma through relationships. However, by going through these baptisms of fire, what you would have been brought into contact with are different dimensions of consciousness. And through those dimensions of consciousness, you may have now come out the other side, but with a deeper or greater understanding of some of the lessons that you learned. And so through the lessons of what you've learned, because it's Venus, you are then able to place greater value on relationships, for example. And so as you traverse into this new world that the North Node is pointing you towards, you'll have clarity and discernment over what types of people you'd like to have relationships with, but also the qualities, the values. You'll have a stronger value base in terms of your relationships. Staying with Venus and Chiron again, you could also at this time be meeting people who bring you business opportunities or artistic expressions or opportunities or experiences for deeper personal growth. So it's as much as Pisces can be about slight confusion and the victimhood, you've got this really strong North Node. But also, the next signature that's supporting all of this is that there's a gentle aspect taking place between Neptune and Pluto. And here, it's about the subtle inner transformation that needs to take place. So it's pointing to your South Node, the baggage in the South Node, but then the recognition that actually there could be character traits that you do need to let go of in order to move into the North Node. There's a bit of a disconnect taking place because we've got Jupiter forming a quincunx with Neptune. So there's this sense of rising to this global ideal of humanity, but there's a disconnect in terms of how that might transpire because of the risk-taking aspect with Jupiter. So if we think about it, Jupiter is in Libra, so it's in an air sign, and then we've got Neptune rising and really dealing with the collective as Jupiter is, but it's water and it's air, and there's a disconnect. And because we're dealing with Jupiter in Libra, there's a sense that you could be operating at in a polarized way. And with Libra, it's encouraging you to find that middle ground, come back to the center of Libra, and through coming back to that sense of balance, you can then think more globally around how you can bring the sensitivities of the collective in a way that's going to be meaningful and beautiful for everyone else. We also have a trine that's with Mercury and Saturn, and so Mercury is in Aries and Saturn is in Sagittarius and has been there for the last couple of years. So here it's about thinking very dynamically and very positively, but also that's been supported because with Saturn in Sagittarius, Saturn is about, you know, your right and your authority and the maturity of your thoughts, but it's also a way for you to gain even more confidence because with Saturn in Sagittarius, you've developed your own philosophies. And what you're seeking to do with this new moon is to bring those personal philosophies, being able to articulate the personal philosophies as you continue to move into this beautiful new direction that the new moon with the last degree of the North Node in Virgo is inviting you to do, because come May next month you are going to be placed on the center stage. So that's it, and it brings me to the question of the day. And the question of the day is this: what great wisdom have you acquired because of the bitter lessons from your past? And the quote of the day is from R. Brault, and what he said is that you are able to really grow when you can accept the apology that you never got. So, you know, in life, sometimes when things happen to us, the most brutal, devastating things happen to us that hurt us, we're always, you know, looking for an apology. That person needs to apologize. But with this particular beautiful quote, it's about life becomes easier if you're able to accept the apology that you never got. So, as always, beautiful people, I love to connect with you. Please put your comments and answers in the comment box below. Feel free to share this episode with other people in your network. Let's build up the dialogue around the beautiful ways in which you can transform yourself as you continue to move through your life of self-illumination. And you can like and subscribe to my channel. So until then, I will see you again on the next episode, and do enjoy this new moon. Bye.